Welcome to ExpandAbilities Meets, the podcast where mindset, resilience, and real conversations help shape complete athletes. I'm Alex.
And Robert,
Each episode, we dive into the mental side of athletic performance, the stories behind the struggles, and the habits that help athletes grow on and off the field. Thanks for being here. Let's expand our abilities together. Robert, let's get into it. So, this is kind of a surprise impromptu episode. I know we talked in our last episode about the next one being with our guest, but surprise, it's going to happen for our next one 'cause we love doing this. We do this for the
right?
people. We do this because we want to
Things
put
happen.
exactly things happen and we adjust, right? It's all part of life. You have to learn to adjust. It's not just that, but when this is something you enjoy, we just want to keep doing it, right?
Exactly. Things happen, and we have to be able to go with the flow because each day is going to be different. We never know what's going to pop up, what's going to happen. So we want to make sure that not only we are expanding our abilities, that you are expanding your knowledge and abilities as well.
That's good. That's good. You practiced that, didn't you?
Alex, of course.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
100%, man.
So, with that being said, this episode we're going to focus a lot on transition, especially when it comes to athletics and
Yes.
transitioning from, say, one coaching staff to another, one environment, one culture to another. And there's a lot of different avenues we can go down with this. Okay, so let's start here. So, University of Michigan, a few weeks ago, fired Sharon Moore, right, beginning of December, having an inappropriate relationship with a staff member, and then everything led to worse and worse and worse, where he broke into her home, and it was not a good scene. So now we're on the up and up in Ann Arbor because Kyle Whittingham, who was the head coach over at Utah, just got hired for a 5-year deal over at Michigan. So, what do you think the players are thinking? Well, I know we talked about a couple weeks ago what they were thinking in regards to the Sharon Moore situation, but what do you think is going through their heads? They have a bowl approaching against Texas, their bowl game. It's gonna be a great one. 2-3 loss teams going against each other. Um, but then they just get this news that hey, we finally have a head coach who's going to take over the program. So, what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. So first first thought is like, okay, their curiosity. Okay, what is this coach? What is he going to be like? I heard of him. I heard that, hey, he's a Utah coach. This is me speaking as a player. Okay, this guy's a Utah coach. He's been at Utah for 20 something
21,
years.
21 years.
Yeah, 20 something years. So he's been there for 20 something years. What is he going to be? Excuse my language, but is he going to be a hard butt? Is he going to be what? What's going to be different? This is so one thing is it's going to be the beginning of a new culture for Michigan. Whether wherever side of Michigan you're on, it's going to be a new culture for Michigan. It's going to be like optimism, curiosity, and hopefully for Big Ten's sake that Michigan brings a lot of energy come their bowl game.
Yeah, I know you're a Big Ten guy. I'm a Big Ten guy. We want to see the Big Ten succeed, right? So this is a good hire. I'll be honest. This is a good hire. It was kind of unexpected. I thought they were going to go a different avenue. But I think it's funny how when Kyle Whittingham when he left Utah, he worded it as, "Hey, I'm going to enter the transfer portal. My time at Utah is done." And I thought that was awesome because it's like, all right, like he has a sense of humor, cool, but he's also I feel like he gets relationships well. And
Yes,
I feel like for Michigan, this is a good hire given in the wake of the whole Sharon Moore situation. Even the catastrophe that happened with under Jim Harbaugh's staff, I think this is a good hire and will bring a lot of safety and security to the program as they kind of restructure everything to hopefully become a winning program again and in all the right ways, right?
right. So one thing I know we are speaking on Michigan. However, there has been a lot of coaching changes around the country. So
Let's
when
talk
we're
about it.
talking about player reaction, we're talking about players from players from where we're at
Au-
Utah,
Auburn.
Utah,
Penn
Auburn,
State, Michigan
LSU,
State.
Penn State, Michigan State. Um, Changes all around the league, all around the country. So when we talk about these countries, it may sound like we're strictly talking about Big Ten, but we're definitely talking about uh, players from every sector of the country, whether it's Division One or Division Three, even high school. No, definitely high school. High school
Yeah.
coaches get new coaches every year. Junior high, high school, you get new coaches every year, somewhere.
And
So
honestly, some kids quit because of the coaching changes. Some kids
sure,
can't deal with it. They don't like the culture. They don't like what's being taught. I mean, we could talk more about that, but I mean, what kind of goes through your head when you see all these different changes happening right now, especially in college football alone?
right. So you brought up that players may not come back. So speaking of from players, how many players will leave? How many players will go into the transfer portal? How many players will decide to stay and not enter the transfer portal? Based on the coach's reputation, based on what they're used to, and what they're not willing to give up or change. I know a lot of it has to do with money nowadays, as far as college athletes, but still, they're still human beings, and they still have feelings. And who knows? Kyle may have recruited one of these individuals before, and they were turned off by him, and they say, "Oh no, I'm out. I'm going
Yeah,
somewhere."
it's a totally different atmosphere. It's like we're talking about, totally different atmosphere, totally different culture. Um, I mean, you could even be in a situation where, like how Kurt Signetti was in Indiana a couple years ago when he first got there. He didn't use any of those players. They all entered the transfer portal. He brought his own players from James Madison and then created a whole different culture there. So when you want to talk about culture, there's so many coaches who exhibit this awesome, electric, energetic culture that these players want. Now, can Kyle Whittingham do that? I don't know. But some of these other coaches that have just got some new jobs can. One coach who I'm a big fan of is Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell just left Iowa State after a lot of years, initially coming from Toledo. Um, and he's the Iowa State's winningest coach in the history of the football program. He went to Penn State. James Franklin got fired this year, so then you bring in Matt Campbell at the end of the season, which is an awesome, awesome hire.
Yeah,
He's one of those culture builders. He believes in relationship building and making sure the players are taking away more than just knowledge of the game. You could say
yeah,
the same about Pat Fitzgerald. Pat Fitzgerald dealt with a huge, and we want to talk about mental health, dealt with a huge lawsuit that lasted 3 years, of which he was freed from
he was
because
vindicated.
exactly.
Yes,
And so now he finally gets his chance to shine again. He gets his chance to do what he loves, which is coaching. And again, I don't know what he's making. I don't know what the salaries are. Um, I know it's probably a lot given that it's Big Ten football, but you think of all these different scenarios and all these different uh, coaching jobs that were up this year alone in these faces that took them. It's a different culture for not only the players, but you got to think it's a different culture for the coach too, because it's like, hey, I got to win over an entire team of guys.
yeah, 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 definitely. That can be a challenge in itself. Not only does he have to win over the guys, he has to win over the coaches that he decides to keep on staff. You know, how are their how are those guys feeling? How are their families feeling? I remember when my dad was in the service. Um, every time he would get new orders, it was like, okay, we're moving again, and now we're moving again. So kind of understand, what the coaches' families are feeling, because it is a mental a struggle going to a new school as a kid, going to a new school, trying to make new friends, or maybe not even wanting to make new friends because guess what? They know in a year or two they're going to be going again somewhere else. So they try
Well,
to keep their distance.
it's really weird because now you see it with the coaches, but then also the kids because of NIL and the transfer portal. You're seeing some people not be in one place for longer than 4 years. So during someone's entire college experience, they could be going through a handful of coaches, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that could take a toll on someone. And I think that's why, I mean, there's a rule now where a player can enter the transfer portal, I believe, for 30 days um, after the coach leaves, departs, is fired, things like that, because obviously the coach plays a huge part in a kid's decision to go to college, right?
Yep.
Because you want to play for this specific individual. I'm sure those who played for Nick Saban, when Nick Saban retired, they were like, I don't want to play for anyone else besides Nick Saban. If I do, I'm going to play for Lane Kiffin, for example. You want to go with someone who was on Nick's staff, right?
Right.
So some of these kids are just so gung ho and staying with this specific system and this specific coach, but they don't want to change. Change is hard for people.
So how do you feel that they will kind of test the coach, test the rules, you know?
So I think yes, these kids are adults. These are 18 to 22-year-olds. But at the same time, they're learning how to be adults. And so that's the important part of a coach is you have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I think you go in with the mentality that, hey, this is a whole new group of guys. They have no clue who I am. The only thing they know is they can Google me and find out where I used to coach.
Yeah.
They know nothing about me, and so I need to go in with a relationship mentality. And especially going into a job now, you have all of spring ball, you have winter workouts, and so it gives you a chance to really grow closer with your staff, grow closer with your team, so you can try to build that camaraderie to win in the fall. That's really what it comes down to. A lot of times in football, it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the relationships you build with your teammates, with your coaches, and for the coach to build with the players and their colleagues.
Yeah.
Because when you have that type of relationship mentality and that kind of culture, you're going to win naturally. If
Yeah.
they believe what you are doing and they believe in the process, they believe in what you want to do as a program, you will win. There's no
Yeah.
guarantee, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, look, Indiana's a perfect example. When did you ever think Indiana was going to be a powerhouse football program? Until Kurt Cignetti comes there, brings all these guys, many of which will not go high in the draft potentially, but these are just guys who love to play, who believe in the culture, they believe in the process. And I feel
Yeah.
like
They're
that's
playing
what
together.
they're playing together. They're playing for the love of the game, and I feel like that's what's starting to get missing. Everyone's so focused on money. And I think, for example, Kyle going to Michigan, I think he sees an opportunity to rebuild a program that has struggled. Not necessarily with wins, but has struggled emotionally, struggled all around the board with just keeping athletes, staying out of the news in a
Well, just
negative,
change the culture. I
in a
mean,
positive way.
in a positive way. He is a no nonsense coach. He'll be an adult in the room, which that's what they needed. A true someone that not just someone that took the place of Jim Harbaugh, because me personally, I believe Sharon Moore was just he was there, so it was just an easy transition. Instead of going out there and getting a real football coach, which I think um, they hit the jackpot with Kyle Whittingham.
Well, and I
It's a
think
good hire.
it's a safe hire is ultimately what it is. He was at Utah for 21 seasons. He's 66 years old, so he's at a stage in his life where he wants to continue learning about the game. He's been a head coach, so he's not really trying to grow necessarily. He went 177 and 88 at Utah, which in Utah it's pretty impressive. Like he at Utah when he was there, they were in three different conferences.
Yeah,
They were in the Mountain West, they were in the Pac-12, and then they were in the Big 12. And they
yep,
performed really well. They went like 10 and 2 this year, right? So um being at a school like Utah and having the resources they have and doing well, I mean, I can only imagine what he can do at Michigan. Same thing with these other coaches, right? Alex Golash down at South Florida did really well. Had a great few seasons there after being the OC over at Tennessee. He's now the head coach at Auburn. And so you give coaches these resources, you give them, I hate to say it, but the money, you give them the money, then they can make something great out of a program.
yeah.
Does that apply to the players though? Because I feel like the players right now are so centered on money and really not centered on what's going on in the front office.
Well, I think, or I believe, I know that the players that stay, they are Michigan players. They're just Michigan players. Period. It doesn't matter who the coach is; they're going to be at Michigan. The ones that put money first, those are the ones you don't want sometimes. Hey, you know what? The money will come. If you do what you're supposed to do, you play how you're supposed to play, the money will come. The money will follow.
I
But
agree.
however, if we start our conversation with dollars and cents, the, I already know what kind of player you are. Well, how are you going to be, when crunch time? It's when they are fourth and goal at the one playing Ohio State, no, in the big house, or even at the shoe. Are you still thinking about your next check, or are you thinking about getting this first down?
And that's how it used to be for the longest time.
Yeah.
People were so centered on bettering themselves, and they weren't so focused on a paycheck. And they were worried on the down. They were worried about their team, And even if you have 2 wins on the season, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave your program? Are you going to leave your team? Or are you going to attack adversity and work together?
All right.
Man, I mean, we're going through that at our high school here. Um, I heard that one of our student athletes might be transferring because apparently he loves football more than anyone else. And that just tells me that you are putting yourself above the team. If you want to make this a great program and you want to make this a good experience and atmosphere for everyone,
Hey, stay and make it happen.
be a leader. Be a leader. And it seems like kids are shying away from leadership opportunities. Maybe it's because some of these coaches just can't stay in one place. Maybe some of these coaches aren't buying into their own culture. I have no clue. I mean, again, I think it's depends on program to program, but that is the center of creating a successful program is making sure the kids buy into what you're preaching and what you're teaching, right?
So,
It's not just X's and O's.
right. So how about that emotional attachment players have with, say, players have with Mr. Moore, Coach Moore? That emotional attachment, that trust they have in him. Now, how is it affecting them
Well,
emotionally and
I've
physically?
I've known some Michigan linemen who played for him, and they spoke very highly of him as a coach. And I think that's the way they have to think about it in order to think positively about it. Is hey, he was my coach. He was a good coach. What he did outside of football was not good. And so that's, I guess, how the players have to see it in order to make sure they remain emotionally stable. Like he was a role model on the field, but then after finding out about everything off the field, that hinders how I think about him. But you can't let that hinder your entire experience, especially as a football player in that program, because being a football player in the Michigan football program, again, I know you're a Buckeye guy, but it
Well, that's
speaks
any program,
it
you
speaks
know.
volume. It's well, yeah, but we were talking about Coach Moore, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
If you get the opportunity to play college football at a big time FBS Power Four school, you're going to take that and you're going to run with it, and you're going to give the most. You're going to do the best and give the most you can get, right? Um, Now, when it comes to the emotional attachment, I think that's the hard part because you spend so much time, and again, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but you spend so much time with someone, you spend so much time with a team, you spend so much time in the facilities where it literally becomes a family. So when you're told that, hey, this individual in your family away from home is making bad decisions, it's going to weigh on you. It will
yeah,
weigh on you. But you can't lose focus of the reason you went there for because it's okay to be a little bit selfish in these types of settings because at the end of the day, it's your talents that brought you there. It's not the coach's talents, it's your talents that brought you there.
right.
And I guess that's my part on it. What do you think about it?
I I agree.
About the emotional
Also,
attachment?
yeah, I mean the emotional attachment. I do agree. I'm also thinking about the parent. You're sitting back saying, "Hey, this gentleman was in my living room.
Like
Hey,
he lied.
courting my son. Hey, I want him to play for my school. This is what this person is going to receive. This is what I'm gonna do." for for them. So emotionally, the player's going to be they may be hesitant to trust the next coach.
I can
You
see
know,
that.
now, why should I put all my trust in you? I don't care if you came from Utah. I don't care if you came from Ole Miss. Now you're here. Why should I trust you? You just left. You just left Ole Miss, and you had a good situation. Why are you telling me that you're not going to leave here? Because now anything you say, I can't believe. I can't believe. But for Kyle Whittingham, he could come in there. Hey, fresh. I've been at one program for 21 years. I plan on being here through the end of my contract, and then I go from there. Hopefully, through the end of my contract, the end of your contract, we both can be here together and win some games.
And I think the big thing right now is to not focus on the future, not focus on the past, but is to focus on the present.
Yeah,
Being mindful of what's in front of you. What's in front of you, in Michigan's case, is a 9-3 team going in a bowl game against Coach Sarkisian and Arch Manning. And it's going to be a great experience. They can win, they can lose, but what's important is they finish the season on a positive note. And a positive note doesn't always mean having a win next to your name, next to your team name.
right.
What's positive is that they are going to improve as a program. It's the same thing you see with all these other programs. When Nick Saban left Alabama, they lost a lot of players. Then Kalen DeBoer comes in, and Coach DeBoer's been doing really well, right? I mean, it's pretty hard to be the predecessor to Nick Saban, right? So these transitions are going to happen throughout life because in reality, being a collegiate athlete, that's your job. That is your job. So think of it as your boss left. What are you going to do? You could choose to
Now,
leave. You could choose to leave. You could choose to stay and grind it out.
right.
It really depends on the situation.
Let's
And
talk about let's talk about one group of individuals that we haven't touched on. That's the fans. How I
oh, that's a
know,
good one. Yeah, I like that.
yeah, the fans. You know, you're gonna have one side going one way. You're gonna have a small group going another way. As a, I'm just gonna talk with you. I'm gonna let you take this for as a coach going as a player as a fan going through this. You know, bringing in a new coach. Um, how was it for you? I know how it was for me, but how was it for you?
Uh, I disengaged from it. Um, I was pissed. It was not a good situation. It was unexpected. Thinking like, hey, we have Sharon Moore here who has a pretty good win percentage for a new coach in his first couple of years. He beat Ohio State a couple times, being the sole guy on the side of the bench. With Jim Harbaugh being suspended 1 year and then eventually him taking on the head role. So when that all happened, I was shocked, obviously. But then the process just felt like it just waited and waited and kept going and going and going. And it was bad because it was at a specific time where all the coaching candidates were already taken or signed new contracts. It was at a really bad time.
Yeah,
And so you had to think probably as a player and even as a fan, it's like, what options do we have? I mean, it's either we promote Biff Bogey from interim head coach to the head role, but he doesn't have a good track record over at Charlotte.
that sounds like Back to the Future, Biff.
Yeah, literally. And I mean, he seems like a good guy. He's been a big culture believer within that program right now since Coach Moore left.
Sure.
But I feel like you were given an opportunity to hire a few people, and none really stood out a ton as some did in the hiring cycle in November. Um, but I think given what we have that was available, I think I'm satisfied. I'm good. I think it's again, we'll see what happens with the players. I mean, it really comes down to will they stay or will they go? I feel like this is
Yeah,
the time where we play the song, Should I Stay or Should I Go?
yeah. Sure, I stand. Sure, good. All right. I know. Hey, you should break out your guitars and your drums and do it.
Right now. I gotta tune it.
Okay.
My guitar is severely out of tune. It would not sound good.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
You've been learning guitar too.
I have. I have. I need to
Well,
jump back on it.
and that's the thing too. When anyone goes through emotional times, I think picking up an instrument, it's my personal favorite. I love it. I think it's relaxing. It's just having that extra coping strategy that you can use.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd love to hear. I would love to bring on some of these football players and talk about the transition process from
Yeah.
coach to coach and talk about what helps them cope.
Yeah. Hey, if you're a player out there, or if you know of any players, high school, out of school, college,
NFL,
NFL,
UFL.
UFL, any type of sport, tennis, whatever. Come on.
Leave a comment.
Yep. Leave a comment.
We'll
Come
get
on.
you on here and we're
Expand
going to
your
talk about it.
abilities.
And if you ever want to, if you ever want to get in contact with us, go to www.expandabilities.com. Again, that's www.expandabilities.com. Go to the contact page and you can fill out an inquiry. We will get it directly so we can add you onto our next show.
Exactly. Exactly. Hit that like button. That helps us out as well.
It definitely does. And make sure it's all tell everyone you know because this is something that is common. We are here to have the hard conversations that a lot of people don't want to have. And this one was lighter definitely than our last episode, um, which is good. But what I'm excited for is what's to come. We have a guest coming for our next one. I know this was an impromptu episode, but I promise our next episode we are having a guest. Um,
And you will enjoy their presence.
we will enjoy it. It'll be great to hear their story, to be able to talk about something that takes on the world with eating disorders, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's all part of this is, we can learn as well as everyone out there, right? Everyone that's the great thing is we learn 24/7, 100%. We are always learning. And that's something that I take to heart is you could never know enough. Rob, you have two master's degrees, you're still learning.
I'm definitely still learning. I have mistakes I need to clean up and things that I do well. I want to,
Mistakes as in dog poop.
yeah, I need to go out. I need to go out pick up some mountains after this
Some
conversation.
mountains of poo from your four dogs.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
well, this has been good. I think continuing to talk about this, I mean, even if someone doesn't want to come on and share, we still keep an eye out in the news. We keep an eye out for what's out there so we can talk about it here and hopefully someone can connect. Um, anything else, Rob, or should we end it?
Hey, let's never end. We will be back.
We'll be
So
back. Till next time.
that's right.
Well, this has been ExpandAbilities Meets, the podcast for mindset resilience, real conversations, help shape complete athletes. I am Alex.
And Rob,
We look forward to our next episode with our guest and from many more to come. Thank you guys. This has been ExpandAbilities Meets.
peace.